Hello, welcome to my video. Hi mom and dad. Abba, Amma, ni hao. Thank you for clicking on my video, my first YouTube video. I'm happy you're here. I wanted to make this video to say that yes, you can get a green card in China. Don't let people tell you you can't. That's very common. You'll find many things online telling you that's impossible. You can't do it. Quit. They're never going to give it to you. They don't give green cards in China. Even when I was applying, the security guard told me, oh, you're not going to get it. Nobody gets it unless they're a high talent, have a doctorate's degree or bachelor's degree or whatever. But that's simply not the case. So I just want to say that yes, you can get it. I can tell you the steps to getting a green card here. The first step in order to get a green card here is to go to your local exit entry bureau, and they give you a checklist of everything that is required to get the green card or the permanent residency card. And there's many categories that you may qualify under. They'll give you the information telling you, detailing it, exactly what you need, though their checklist is very broad, I guess, or ambiguous in some of their items on the list, stating what they require, which you have to keep continually going back to them and saying, do you mean this or do you mean that? But I did everything on my own or with the help of my family to get my application completed. I never used an agent. I know agents can be helpful, but I found that it's better to learn how to do things on your own. I've always been that way, so that if I ever had to go through it again, or if I wanted to tell a friend how to do it, I would know and could help them. But if I gave it to an agent, I would never learn anything. So step one for me, I qualified because of my spouse. I've been married for 5 years, and through him I was able to get a green card, which is very common here. But you don't have to be married in order to get it. There's other categories that you might fall under, but those requirements might be higher than you're capable of getting at the moment. Like, there's an investment type of green card. It's the same as in the US, though. You can get an investment visa in the US. And so, although you only see in the news the star athletes or Elon Musk type people in the world getting a green card in China, that is not the only people that are allowed to get green cards or who are issued green cards. It's actually more family members are issued them. Step 2, live in China for 9 out of 12 months for 5 years. So not only do you have to be married for 5 years, you have to live in China for pretty much 5 years. I came to China right when I graduated from university, so I've been here a very long time. People ask me, why do you enjoy China? Just say every day is a new adventure. I think I would be happy in China or in any country, actually. So it's based on the person. After that, you have to prove you have a stable home. That doesn't mean you have to purchase an apartment here. You can rent. You just have to register your lease with the housing authority here by going to the bureau and getting a form and having your landlord sign off on it that he'll pay taxes for you on this property, which is what you're supposed to do all the time anyway as a renter here in China, but most landlords don't want to do that. I guess you can bypass it if you purchase an apartment here, then you have to deal with the landlord. But for me, I had to deal with my landlord and asking him, please go to the housing authority and give us the lease, the official lease. So after that, step 4 was prove that you have stable financial support. And by no means am I rich. No, by no means is my husband rich. It just means that you're meeting the basic city standard for being able to support your spouse. So, and some other financial support things were that you need to notarize and translate your marriage certificate. So if you got married in mainland China, then it's really easy. You just submit that document. I got married in Hong Kong, so I had to go to an authorized law firm that could submit it to the Chinese authorities there that would send it off to the notary in mainland China. So there was additional step process being married in Hong Kong. But the amount of paperwork that I saved in getting married in Hong Kong initially was one of the reasons why I chose to go to Hong Kong in the first place. But moving on, you translate and notarize your marriage certificate, and you also have to notarize a certification of deposit, the amount that you deposit in the bank, and freeze it for 2 years. We played it safe and froze it for 3 years, at least 200,000 RMB in our city. Notarize a rental agreement, notarize economic support statement, get a health and wellness certificate, complete an application, do not sign, write a mini-autobiography in Chinese, which will be your resume in Chinese, pre-submit all the documents that I just said, plus your spouse's local ID card and hukou, plus 4 photos of yourself, plus a CD with your photos on them. They're still very old-fashioned and wanting a CD, even though it's 2019 now, almost 2020. Also, you need copies of every single visa you've ever had here and your passports. So after you have all your documents, you go and submit everything, and you sign the application, give it to them. They tell you whether or not you have all the right documents, and then they let you sign the application for any of them. Once they say, oh, yep, you have everything that we need here, you ask your home country for a background check. For me, it was the FBI background check, saying that I do not have a criminal record. Once I got that from FBI, I had to send that over to the Department of Justice in Washington, D.C. to say, yes, this is really an FBI background check telling me that she does not have a criminal history. Then once I get that from the Department of Justice, I send that authentication of the background check to Chinese embassy in D.C., where they stamp it and say, yep, this is a document that was checked by the Department of Justice, and we approve it, and then that's either carried or shipped back to you, and you hand that over, and then they say, okay, now we're submitting your application to the city level. The total cost currently was 1,500 RMB. Once that's approved, within 90 days, it'll be sent to the provincial level. Once they check that, after 60 days, supposedly 60 days, though mine didn't take 60 days, it took way longer because they can have another extra investigation if they want and hold your application indefinitely, which I marched myself over to the provincial level and said, where is my document? Putting pressure on them. So then they sent it to the central government level, national government level, for where they finally approved it, printed out the card, sent it all the way back to the city level, and then once your card is issued, you have to pay an extra 300 RMB at an actual bank. They can't pay for it at the office. You have to go and pay for it at a bank, which you better hope it doesn't close by the time you return there. Unfortunately for me, it closed, so I had to come the next day with the payment slip, and then I got my ID card. There was no ceremony, no special word, no shaking your hands or anything, just a list of 5 people that were receiving it at the same time as me. So the process is long, but I can understand why they don't want to just hand them freely out. If you have questions, I hope to make this available to anyone, because getting a green card is not just something for Americans, it's for any foreigner coming to China or any expat living in China, that this is something that's available to them, and I think just more people should know about it. Feel free to ask me questions. I don't want this video to be I'm against anyone. I have respect for anyone who puts themselves out there and makes the video. I'm not a talker, so I hope I can be as direct as possible with my videos, showing you something I've experienced. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And one final thing I want to say is like, comment, subscribe. If this is something that you're interested in hearing, my comment section is always open for anything else you want to say or add. Thanks. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.